Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mindset Monday. Today is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and I hope today was a spectacular day. Today, for us in the Bronx, New York, it's rainy day, but I love rain, so it didn't bother me. But I hope many of you did not get wet. And if you get wet, I hope you're home and getting all of those wet clothes taken off. But today is a wonderful day, and I am happy that you're here sharing with us. For those who will be watching the replay, I hope you will gain something from what we have to share today. We are in our series of Abundance in Service. And since the series began, last week we had a teacher extraordinaire. She has been serving from a very, very young age, and she is serving even up to today. If you did not get a chance to watch it, go back and watch last week. A lot of information shared, and just speaking from her heart, she was able to give us nuggets how we can remain in service and be gratified by the services we give, even if it's unpaid. This week, we have another exceptional human being who has been serving in many different capacities over the duration of his life. And he has gained um, the Armed Force Expeditionary Medal, a U.S. presidential medal. He was born in Kingston, Jamaica, West Indies, and he loved technology from age 7. His extensive education is electrical, store management, inventory. You see, a whole lot of things. Holistic health, media, he has a degree in technology with his major being audio engineering and minor in live production audio and video editing. This fine human being served in the military and also the fire department, servant at heart. Another fine thing about him, his favorite color is blue, and his favorite fruit is East Indian mango. I guess he will be eating a lot of that when mango season comes around. But most importantly, he reminds us that he loves the Lord with all his heart, with all his soul, with all his mind, with all his strength. And I could maybe finish this. He loves his neighbor in the same degree he loves himself. And this is none other than DrDerrick Clark. He will be sharing with us a little bit about how he served and why he served and what's the purpose of really service. Derrick Marcellus Clark, welcome. It's so good to have you here with us today.
Peace, blessings, enough, whole heap, plenty, a lot of love to all the kings and queens here on this wonderful platform by none other than our queen, Miriam Edwards. Really appreciate it. And thank you very much for inviting me to this auspicious group and setting so we can express the abundance in service.
I know you said your favorite color is blue. I thought you would be showing up in something blue, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I have a little blue in this, you know. A little blue is in this. All right. So that's all right. But
Okay,
you
wonderful.
know, I have a little blue there. See there? Yeah, yeah.
And I'm so happy. I'm honored to have you here for you to share with us abundance in service. And you have the floor. Take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Miriam. You see, a lot of people think that service is something big, that you have to have a lot of money to serve. But no, service comes in many ways, many ways. Um, but first of all, Queen Miriam and all the persons here on YouTube or Facebook or whatever social media that you're joining us on today, I just want to let you all know that service is not anything big, especially when you're serving humanity. Because when you talk about service, Queen Miriam, you're really talking about service to humanity.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you're really talking about or talking of, right? The service that we give to humanity.
That's correct.
Oh, definitely, that is correct. And so, what does that refers to? What does service to humanity refers to? Any action or effort that aims to benefit others and improve the world that we are living in. All right? Acts of kindness,
Mm-hmm.
compassion, and social responsibility. Anything that can involve helping those in need, addressing social problems, or simply making a positive impact on people's lives. And you don't have to go far, Queen Miriam. You don't have to go far to impact people's life. You really don't. Because you have people all over the place. As you step out through your gate, well, you don't have to sometimes step out through your gate.
Start from the home.
Right there in your home, right? And that is where abundance of kindness, abundance of love,
Mm-hmm.
and especially abundance in forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is one of the problems that we are having, is that we are living in ego and not in love.
Okay, expound on that for me.
Oh,
We're living
oh
in
yes.
ego and not in love.
Yeah. You see, Queen Miriam, when we have abundance, the more abundance we have is really the less love we have. We
Hmm.
live more in ego. We big up our chest because we now have abundance in treasury. You see, listen, God wanted us. God wanted us to have abundance in love,
Mm-hmm.
abundance in talent,
Mm-hmm.
abundance in time,
Mm-hmm.
and abundance in treasury.
All right.
Okay? He wants us to have, and that is why I believe that God created everything. Everything was created before He created us. He created time
Mm-hmm.
so that we can have abundance in time.
Mm-hmm.
He created talent so that we can have abundance in talent. And He created treasury long before, because all the treasures of the earth is there before we were created. We were the last thing item on the program. And as some people say, the crowning act of creation is us. All right. And so everything was there in abundance.
Abundance.
Abundance. And that is why God Himself said, I wish above all things that we prosper and be in good health, have abundance.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, as some people try to accumulate all the abundance for themselves and forget about their fellow men. And that is why now we have to live in love
Mm-hmm.
and not in ego. Because when we live in ego, we don't see the next man beside us who need a little, just
Mm-hmm.
a little of the abundance, just a little. And so we don't want to serve him because he's not going to give me anything back in return.
Mm-hmm.
So our service is no more. geared towards people of my status and a little bit more because I am looking something in return in my
So,
service.
so in other words, ex- expand a little bit more on serving because you're able to get a return on the investment of your service.
Of course, most definitely, Queen Miriam. And if persons on the YouTube or Facebook or wherever you are watching live, you know, you can help me with this. If I give to someone, if I serve someone who is able to to gratify that service with something, that is who I'm going to serve, really. That is who the massive serve, really
Hmm.
and truly, right? Especially the masses that has abundance in financial wealth. And you notice I am very specific
Hmm.
because abundance in wealth is a different scenario than abundance in financial wealth, right? And when persons, a lot of persons, well, not a lot of persons, I think it's about 5% of the world population that has abundance in financial wealth.
Hmm.
And when you have abundance in financial wealth, then you just cater really for the persons of your same category. And that is why the wealth, the financial wealth, is just among that 5%, not
Hmm.
going anywhere because it's only moved around in that 5% circle, even though there is enough abundance of financial wealth, one, to help and to assist everybody in the world and would lack nothing if we would come together in love and in forgiveness, because that is the era now that because I have so much ego that if this person says something that I don't like, I am going to put him at a distance, put her at a distance, and war with them. And so I don't need to serve them because I mean, who going to serve somebody they are in war with?
Hmm.
Husbands and wives do it. You're not going to wash no dishes. You're not going to wash any dishes if you're in war with your wife. No dishes not going to wash, right? And no food not going to be on the table
Hmm.
if husband and wife warring. All
So
right, you
that's
better,
when they're living in ego then.
there you go.
Hmm.
That is when the ego is played out in both roles or in both group of people. And it's the same thing in our society, right? When we are living in ego, we don't want to serve. We are not that we don't want to, but we
Hmm.
are not going to serve because I have something against you and I have you up in my heart and all of those things. And so therefore, there's no need to serve you
So what
because
you're
I'm
saying,
loving you.
what you're saying now, pure service comes from the love that is connected to God.
Hmm. Yes, yes.
So,
Because Queen Miriam,
mhm.
love only come from God. And I know that people say them love each other and what have you and them get married and what have you. But if we are not plugged into God, you could have say love like a more that is not going to act out totally and properly as how God intended without God involved.
Hmm. And expound on that a little bit more.
Well, just as I am saying, if you are living in ego,
Hmm.
right? Then even though you say which is, the famous three words that you have in the in any language. I love you. We say that every day. We say almost every day, and we say it almost to everybody. And most of the time, when we say that, especially when a man is saying that to a woman, most of the time is to get something,
Mm.
is to get a little piece of the action,
Mm-hmm.
really and truly, you know, to get a little sexual intercourse
Mm.
going on right there. All right, and so those words unlock the treasure chest,
Mm.
really and truly.
So those are trigger words.
So it's trigger word. Ah, there you go. It's trigger words, right? And men know how to use it, and women know how to receive it. And so, you know, you don't really love, but it is desirous because those words are desirable. And so from once the desire is there, which God put it there,
Mm-hmm.
and you use those desirous words to feed the desire of the person, then it's all over by the show
Mm.
in a little while, you know, thing. But this is where the ego will now prevail because you are not plugged in to the source of love.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you make that woman get pregnant, and so where that love, that man that was full of love, man, missing in action,
Mm-hmm.
and no more love. And so we don't want to serve anymore. You serve all along. You serve all along. Um, and you carry her out, and you go there and you go there, and you spend your money and what have you. But make she get pregnant and see what where that love gone, where that service gone. The service gone, no service no more. Because because there was no love in the first place.
Mm.
No love in the first place. All right. And so love is the ingredient that, and that love only comes from God, is the ingredient that activates the service. And if you don't have that love, then the service will not be activated. And what will happen? You don't want to serve. You're not going to even think of serving. And that is why, a lot of persons don't serve, really and truly, because them either think them too big to serve, or them have too much money to serve, or them position let them don't want to serve, and so on. But I was groomed, really. I think I was groomed to serve
And
when I was on. Go
you said
ahead.
you were groomed to serve.
Yes.
Okay, share that experience with us.
All right. Um, in so when I was a little boy, I used to love Scout. Well, I should say I was into Scout,
Mm-hmm.
and so with Scout, being a Scout, you are taught to serve,
Mm.
right? Because you go to the nursing homes, and you go to children's home, and you either put on a program, maybe a little concert, or you put on a whatever program, and then you sweep up the street, because some of the time the streets are messy, and we get some big garbage bags and do all those kind of things. We might do it at the park, because people just drop them paper and them cup and them this all over the park. And so we would go in as a scout and pick up these papers and so on, and cups and all of these. So right away we are being groomed to serve.
Groomed for service. All right.
Yes, you are groomed to serve,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you don't get these exposure from a young age, also, it's hard really to just develop that service. It can be developed, but it's a little harder. And then when I left from all school, then I went to high school, and in high school I was in cadet, and that is another grooming of service,
Mm.
right? Participating in a lot of service ventures, and then also we joined the military, and that was another level of service,
So all
right?
through your life,
Yes.
you were actually geared. Your journey was a journey of service.
Hmm. Yes, definitely. Right. And then after the military, I spent a couple of years, a few years in the fire service.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more service. All right. People running from fire, we are running to fire. All right. And a lot of people are very confused when it comes on to fire. Right. So it was different levels of service that we got involved in. And so when I got involved with church or with fellow believers, then it was another level of service. So much so that I even started my own um, level of service to humanity with Loud Cry Ministry,
Oh,
right?
tell us a little
Where
bit about your ministry that you started.
Okay, wonderful. It was really started back in COVID to 2018, right? When, oh my goodness, the whole you could say the whole world. Well, yes, literally the whole world is shut down. I couldn't believe it, but yes, the entire world was shut down, and so it started with persons losing their mind, including myself. Because you are locked in, you cannot even go through the gate because you think you will catch COVID. And so, we just started first online. It was an online ministry, just a place where someone or people could have an outlet.
Hmm.
Really, it was just a outlet service, because especially when persons live alone, it
Mm-hmm.
was harder for those persons who live alone to actually have a peace of mind, because the mind is very vulnerable to things. And one of the things that the mind is very vulnerable to is interaction. If you lack interaction, is a problem, a
Mm-hmm.
major problem. And that is why God Himself said it was not good for man to be alone. It's not good to be alone, really and truly. It's not good. And it's God said that right back there in Genesis. So it's not good for mankind. It's not good for human beings to be alone. A hermit, a hermit dies much quicker than a person who have a companion.
Hmm.
All right, a person who live alone. And when we talk about companion, just somebody who you can interact with.
Right. Right.
Just that, right? We are social beings. We are social beings, and so therefore it's hard. It's really against the grain when we try to live alone and be alone and stay by yourself, and it's not a good thing. It's not a right direction for anyone to take. Oh, I prefer to. I feel better to live alone. No, it's not a good thing. You need interaction. You need camaraderie. You need someone to relate to. That is how God created us.
Very good. So during the program that you initiated, what were some of the best or fulfilling moments during that time that you can share with us this evening? That loud cry that you
Ministry.
started to help people to interact during COVID.
Well, it was during the COVID time. I mean, it has extended outside of COVID,
Mm-hmm,
where it takes on a little different role now, because now you're now able to interact with people
mm-hmm,
physically. So now sometimes we go out physically and address needs of people physically, because you will always God Himself, Jesus Christ, when He was walking the earth, He said, "The poor you will always have,
mm-hmm,
always have." That's not a maybe or a if or a but. You always will always going to have a poorer class of people around us, right? So from once you recognize that there is someone that is in a poorer situation than you, then just help them out.
mm-hmm,
Just help them out. If you can afford one case of water, bottled water, then give someone three. Give someone quarter dozen out of your case
mm-hmm.
of water. Don't just throw the water in your gas and drive home. Wind up under your AC or your heat, and you boom, drive gone home. Bam. Not looking left, not looking right.
So in other
No,
words,
bring it.
you see the need and you act on the need that you see. So you're serving in different capacities because you are aware or you allow your awareness to share with others. So this is what you do constantly. When you go to the store, you look for others to see if they do have or if they don't have. It's that.
Mhm. Yes, you make it. You see, you don't have to be, you know, dragging in a couple 100,000 or a couple million to be of service, right? You start small. As I said, if you can afford a case,
Mm-hmm.
then you help out someone with quarter dozen. If you can afford two case, then you help out more, so to speak, right? You're going to buy lunch, right? You didn't cook and prepare a meal at it, because most people don't cook, right? They just go out on the road and they try to buy something. If you're buying a burger, buy two. Somebody going to be right. You don't have to ask. You don't have to ask. Somebody is going to be right there as you come out of McDonald's or Burger King or wherever you buy your lunch from. And you say, here, um, have some food, have a drink, a nice drink, buckle drink or whatever it is you can afford,
Mm-hmm.
right? And share with someone. Be of service to someone, right? If you cannot afford that every day, once a week, right? Once a week, you share lunch with someone who you see that they are less fortunate than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my grandmother, great grandmother Dingy, told us a story of this man who think that he was very, very poor and him going to just eat him last banana and go kill himself. And he ate the banana and he threw the banana skin through the window. And when it hit someone below and the person cried out, him looked through the window and it was a man down there eating the banana skin.
Mm.
You understand? Or banana peel.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And he said, what? Man, man is worse off than him. So if he never threw away that banana peel, that man wouldn't have anything to eat. Because we see people going through garbage pan, going through, you call it dumpster diving.
Mm-hmm.
You see a man, you see a man go into those like a, um, you know, rubbish bin that is especially at the parks and at the roadside or in some areas. And you see him moving through the rubbish pan and him take out a bag that look good. And when him take out that bag that look good, somebody just take a bite of the sandwich and throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bite. If someone just take a fork full or maybe two fork full of the chicken lunch and throw it away. And that
Wow.
person was able to get that food. So there will always be people who we can serve. Service is something that you'd have to wait on your, your group of fellowship that having, community
Event.
day where them a community event where them maybe serve food to the public or to the community, or you only wait until that event. No, somebody hungry tomorrow and
Mm-hmm.
the next day and the next day, and then people are hungry every day. People need something every day,
Very
right?
true. As Anne Marie Wallace said, you don't have to afford it per se, but if you see yourself with something, share it. Give out of the little you have and see what happens to you.
Mm-hmm. Right, beautiful, definitely. Yes, sir. As I said, there is always someone worse than you, because I'm sure most of, well, if not all of us here is on a device, right? Whether it's a laptop or a desktop or a mobile
Tablet.
device, a
Mhm.
tablet or a smartphone. So you are in a better position and you live somewhere.
Mhm.
Yes, you might, struggle to pay the rent, or you might be struggling to pay the mortgage, but you have a house.
Mhm.
You have people live on the park bench, live right at the little entrance to go into the bank. That's where that person live,
Mhm.
you know. And so you are better off because that person don't even have a house. You are driving and you splash the water up on people and all that. You're driving. You might be struggling to pay your car note, but that man don't even have a shoes. You see plastic bag tie up around him foot in order to keep him foot warm. So he don't even have shoes. But you see, as I said, it's mostly about ego. So
Mm.
I am just looking at myself and who would give me back something.
Mhm.
So sister so and so or brother so and so, you know, they can give me back, or they can give me something 2 weeks down the road or a month down the road if I am in need of something. And so let me lend brother so and so or sister so and so or Mr. So and so. Let me lend them, or help them out, because maybe they can help me out later on too. But the poor man on the road with walking with tear up pants and plastic around him foot, there's no help to come from him. So why am I going to help him? Why am I going to serve him? No. Number one, him smoking and him smell too bad. Don't want to even go too near to him, much less to go give him a bottle of water or
Mm.
something to drink. So all of that is ego.
Mhm.
All of that is ego. All right? Because she's still a human being, one of God's creation that unfortunately is in a bad, bad place. where you and I can help and serve because we have abundance, especially if you are um, attending a house of faith. We know who God is
Mm-hmm.
and that God will see us through. And because God will see us through, we have faith
Mm-hmm.
to know that God will provide. And the more we open our hand to bless, then the hand is open to receive. But from the moment we hold on to the liquor that we have, so to speak, hold on to the liquor we have, then there's nowhere we can receive any blessing either.
Mm-hmm. Because the
All
hand
right?
is closed.
Or the hand closed. Because we're holding on to the liquor that we have. Right? And that is why Elijah, when Joshua, when the woman say all she have is a little meal and a little oil, and she and her son just going to eat and die. And the man of God said, listen, make something for me.
So she was serving
So
first.
oh hallelujah, she was serving, even though she's thinking that this is our last little puff of meal and a last little tooth of oil, that she just go and roll up something for she and her son. And 'cause it was during a famine time.
Mm-hmm.
They were going through a little famine at that time also, right? And the man of God said, just make it for me and you will be blessed. Let us understand that the blessings of God comes with the abundance in service.
The blessings of God comes with the abundance in service. Powerful. Powerful. Going back to your your time in, I'm going to use the military and the fire department. Were there any specific moments that you can remember uh, that you're either you were excited that you were there, and the next moment you were not too excited of being there? In,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, when we were serving in the military,
Mm-hmm.
um, one of the things that I was very, very apprehensive or doubtful or timid or fearful. Fearful. I think fearful would be the right word, actually. I know, and listen, I understand for persons who have been to Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran and those wicked places, I mean, I lift my hat to those persons. I only went to Grenada. That's, that's the only place I went, to fight that little war between Austin and Bishop and, PRA, People's Revolutionary Army, and whatever it was over there. One trying to overthrow the other. All right, ego. See, ego.
Mm-hmm.
One trying to overthrow, one government trying to overthrow the other government. All right, living in ego. And we went to Grenada. Oh my goodness. Queen Miriam, viewers on the various social media platform, I tell you, that was a scary, scary moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, because this was a new era. You are going to a place which is Grenada, you don't know nothing about. Young man,
Mm.
young, green, just not too long leave him mother fractal. So, So, and you just push into a country that war is happening, and you are to serve, because it's service. You are providing service
Mm-hmm.
because we are trying to bring back peace to that country.
Right.
So it's a major act of service, really. All right, people might not look at it that way, right? But it is an act of service, and it was scary. It was very scary, because you hear, the only time we did hear so many gunshots is in training, right? Um, that and that, but you know that all of that gunshot was friendly fire, so to
Right.
speak, right? But then you're hearing all of this gunshot, you don't even know where it's coming
So
from,
it's not friendly that time.
and you know it's not friendly fire because obviously we are now physically in a war zone,
Mm-hmm.
and we are trying to bring back normalcy to the country, um, in that respect, to serve the country in bringing back normalcy. And it was a scary moment, but at the same time, it was, I mean, after most of that fighting and thing, and they start to surrender, and they just throwing the AK-47 on the streets, in the bushes, children
Mm,
was still another, apprehensive moment. Children cannot take up those assault rifle and maybe hurt themselves, because they
mm.
were just throwing it away and run
Right.
and all of those things. And then afterwards, it came down to, and this was in 83, and then by 84 and into 85, then it came down to a lot of normalcy, or more normalcy than anything else. And we are now more helping them to to recover and to build back a little. All right, and training also, because before, Grenada did not even have guns. Their
Wow.
police, before 83, when that scenario happened,
Mm-hmm.
police did not carry gun,
Mm.
didn't carry a gun. All right, no weapons,
So that was a
no
quiet environment, a very
quiet.
peaceful
Yes,
environment.
quiet environment. Never know that a place like that did exist in the
Mm,
80s. All right. But yes, nobody did. So even when you're speaking to the police force people that live there and so on, so you say if someone steals something or commit a crime, if someone commit a crime, how how do you how do you apprehend them? How do you get them? How do you know um you know get to handcuff them? Because they're running, they're
mhm.
moving. So what do you do? They say they blow a whistle and run them down. And then when they blow the whistle, other policemen, you know, come and corner them and back them up and what have you. But the punishment is more severe, when they run. If police stop you, just stop. You might not even get sentenced. You might just get a fine to pay or so on. All right. But their crimes, and this is in the 80s we're talking, when other countries are, so violent with gun and all of that. Um, a lady get 3 years, 3 years in prison for stealing some nutmeg
In Grenada.
in Grenada.
Wow.
3 years in prison. I said, wait, 3 years? And why she got 3 years is because she run.
Wow. So that was during the time of the revolt. While you
No, no, no. That was
oh,
before 83.
okay.
That was their country.
Okay.
and then this gun and shooting and killing of the the then sitting prime minister and so on. It was just a different kind of a scenario, totally, right? But you know, it was good in terms of you know after everything coming back to some sort of normalcy, it was a very good environment, and you really saw the Grenadians under a different light. One of the things that kind of surprised me in Grenada was that this is a West Indies country,
Mm-hmm.
or this is a Caribbean country,
Right.
and they did not eat ackee. They thought that ackee was a flower.
Okay.
And when you really look at it, it is a flower, The outside is red,
Mm-hmm.
and then it have the yellow and black
Right.
inside. So and then it open up like a flower.
Mm-hmm.
So it really looks like a flower action taking place. So when you look under the ackee tree in Grenada, under a ackee tree in Grenada is just before the 80s is was just nasty, because the ackee would open up,
And fall off the tree.
fall off, splash, and nasty up under the ackee tree. They did not eat ackee. And so in the last week that we were there, we had a big um, party like.
I was about to
Uh,
ask if you share with
yeah,
them how to cook the ackee.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So our Jamaican cooks cook ackee and saltfish for them. That was one of the dish that was on the big table spread, and it was now more of a enjoyment moment, and they ate ackee, and it was the taste good for them. Their national dish was opossum,
What is that?
which is a crossbreed between mongoose and rat.
Ooh.
That was their national dish.
So
Finger
they eat
licking.
mangoes and rat, or
It,
it's
it's the name of it is opossum, and the opossum is a crossbreed between mongoose and rat.
so did you have any of that?
Oh no, no, sister. I would not serve in that area.
Okay, okay.
No, didn't serve in that era at all. All right. So anyway, that was basically it. It was nice feeling, a nice interaction, to be there, and especially after everything come back down to some normalcy.
So
We
you served in the kitchen to help them with the ackee and sawfish. That was one of the more enjoyable moments after.
Yes, 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 but that was more led. That was more led by because we had our cooks or our chef
Okay.
from Jamaica that really mainly. I mean, we do other part of that, but
Okay.
service, as I am saying before, service come in many areas, many light. You don't have to have a big money chunk of money in your pocket or in your bank account to serve, especially to serve humanity.
Mhm.
No, you know, from once, as I said earlier, that from once you show compassion
Mhm.
and kindness to others, right? That is a part of serve. Some people might just want you to talk with them.
Mhm.
You don't even have to give them something,
Right.
right? A lot of persons just want you to talk with them, or just want you to listen
Right.
to what they are saying, because they are elderly. So they just want someone to talk with, right? So talent, you can sing, You can play a musical instrument. You can. There's so many different ways to serve. It don't have to be just something that is monetary. All right.
So, in your service, while you were going to the nursing home or the children's home, um, were you one of them that sang to the persons who were there, or what song would you sing at that age, or do you remember any of those wonderful moments that you could share with us?
Yes, at that age, as a scout, we will sing little nursery rhymes.
Okay.
Nursery rhymes, nursery rhymes. We normally sing, or sometime. And yes, well, I wouldn't say choir, but a group of, well, the children who went, we just sing. Not choir or is not. It's children who went just sing. You
Okay.
know. Um, and it was mainly nursery rhyme. You know, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder who you are. You know, things like those. You know, we just sing those little nursery rhymes, and the the folks enjoy it. They enjoyed it. They really, really, you see smiles on those people's face. It was just happy moments
Mm-hmm.
for us as children. I don't know if it's because we are children. They just accept it, so to speak. You know, because when you become a little bigger, then people will tell you that you don't sound good. but but it's like with children they just accept. Whatever you get from children is like you just accept it.
They just
All right,
appreciate
you
whatever
just
is coming
appreciate
to
it
them.
because
Wonderful.
it's coming from children. you know. And so it was happy moments. Even though I was an introvert, you would not believe.
Is it?
I was an introvert so those acts of involvement of service
Mm-hmm.
helped me helped me to come out of my shell, so to
Wow.
speak. Because I was an introvert. I prefer to be alone by myself. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have a problem staying by myself. Actually, I was born alone. I didn't born with a twin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an issue for me to stay alone. You get into less trouble
Okay.
when you stay alone, really and truly. Not staying alone is good. No, staying alone is not good. I don't intend to stay alone. Um, all the rest of my life. But God is good.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, as you serve from your home, you said you started serving while you were in the house. From your experience, I would imagine you had chores and everything to do as a young adult. How did that help to shape your life where you are right now?
Okay. Yeah. When as I said, when we get into the service from home, right, in the time of COVID, it was mainly started out to just provide a place where most of the time we are discussing the word.
Mhm.
But we discuss other things. We discuss other areas. It was like a coping mechanism to the situation of COVID. It was really a coping. Started out as a coping, but as soon as it started to dwindle down, then it come more of a Bible study kind of thing, and then it ventured out into a counseling where we had people coming in, and could address persons' issues
Mhm.
that they were having.
Okay.
Right? People, you know, had some some dangerous issues. People, listen, people are hurting.
Yeah.
People are hurting. Sometimes you see a person with a smile on them face and them going down the road and them quiet. People are hurting, really. And yes, sometimes the difference between a person committing suicide or diverting
Mm-hmm.
into a better place in themselves is just having a forum where they can, as it were, blow off the steam.
Right. They just want to vent.
Yes, and that is why AA meetings work for the better part,
Mm-hmm.
because it's somewhere where these, you know, alcoholic in that sense have a place to be honest, right? Because as I said, it come right back to whether you're living in ego
Mm-hmm.
or you're living in love. And remember, you also have to love yourself. And a lot of persons don't love themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they commit suicide. And that's why they harm themselves and all of these things, because they don't love themselves. And you have to love yourself. That's where the service start.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself. And because you cannot give what you
Cannot give what you don't have.
don't have. Beautiful. All right.
So, in these final few moments, what is one statement or series of statements you'd want to leave with our viewers that sums up the whole act of service, abundance in service, or this whole discourse this evening?
Okay. Well, I I I I thought maybe you'd have looked at even a couple questions in the chat.
Okay,
But
I could look at that. Let
yeah,
me see.
uh-huh.
Most of them are mainly comments. Dr. Lauren Bartley said, Dr. Derrick, love your perception on how act of service is motivated by love and go beyond small favors and the meaningful impact on the less privileged who is receiving service. She also said, well said, when driven by ego, people make decisions to protect their pride rather than the greater good. Sadie Mighty said, oh my goodness, what a word. We need to serve. And Anne Marie said, preach it, sir. Um, so they're mainly comments. Anne Marie said, Dr. Derrick, it's a pleasure and a privilege to see you. Uh,
All right. Let me go to our question.
okay. Oh, Anne Marie said, I totally agree. We don't
No,
care.
that's not.
That's
No,
not, is
sorry.
that the one?
No, this is it. Sorry.
Go ahead. Oh,
Go
Anne
ahead.
Marie said, why should I give persons or person who already can help themselves? That doesn't make sense.
Okay. Um. Well, and um, when a person going to give someone who can help themselves, as I said, that is how a lot of us actually act. Because when I bake a cake, if I was to bake a cake right now, right, I'm going to give someone who I know. That's first of all. So um, I am going to give my church sisters or my church brothers, and they can afford a cake. They can afford a cake. So that's us how we are. Okay. We are not going to just bake a cake, really, generally, and this is a general statement. We're not going to
Mhm.
bake a cake and go seek a person outside. Um, and it's not that you don't know.
It's
You
human nature.
pass,
Yeah.
you pass this man sleeping as early as you going to work, 6 o'clock or whatever time you go to work in the morning. You see him on the park bench sleeping. Him have what you call it? Him shopping cart.
Hmm.
Him shopping cart full of him belongings. And him sleeping right there on the church on the park bench. Right? Him smell bad. You see him not take shower because you pass him there yesterday, you pass him there this morning, you pass him yesterday morning, and you pass him there yesterday last night when you're going home. He's right there, you pass him. Or maybe you pass him pushing him cart going to a garbage pan to eat out of. But you're not going to bake a nice fruit cake, soak your fruits them, and bake a nice fruit cake or bake a nice bread with a banana bread or whatever it is, and go and give him. No, no. You normally give a person. So that is how we what we do. Queen Anne Marie. That's what we do. So I know it don't make sense, right? But that's what we do. We give who already have. That's what we do. All right. And that is why the service, the service has to be intentional,
Mm.
really. Not just because a man come up to you, beg you a dollar, or beg it some change, beg it some change, beg you a change, or me hungry. Um, then you might maybe, you know, and then we try to assess him quickly. I wonder if I'm going to go buy drugs, or I wonder if I'm going to go buy cigarette, or I wonder if I'm going to take it by alcohol. And we do all of that judgment in a quick second. And I don't have any money right now, I just step and gone, right? That is how we are, right? But if our friend, or if our church sister or church brother, and say, them drive a nice car, but them come and ask if you're $200, you're going to try squeeze it and give them, because you might need a $200 down the road, and them will be able to give you. And that is how our service is people who don't really need it. Them really can help themselves. So we don't serve where it is needed. We serve who we can get back from. You understand? That is how we really serve.
So we serve because our needs can be met instead of serve where is needed.
Beautiful,
But there's
right?
another scenario. Traveling on the train. How would you address this? Because traveling on the train, you'll see people asking for things, and you will hear on the you will hear the announcement said, "Do not give." The announce on the train said, "Do not give on the train." How do you, you know?
Well, if they say don't give on the train, don't give on the train. Because maybe so many crimes, you see, because they do their research and what have you. So, and it's not everywhere have train.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
that's
those
true.
specific areas. And when I guess when that is done, then robbery is the next thing, because now they set up their friend to nab you when you go through the train station or whatever it is.
Yeah, great
Well,
answer.
if you there's so many other places to serve,
Mhm.
why you think you have to just serve on the train?
True.
And on the train is people going to whatever business they're going to. So that's not really a good place to serve anyway, unless you're going to sing a song for everybody on the train. Um, you know,
People do
uh,
serve in that capacity too.
right, right. So if they tell you don't serve or don't give money on the train, it has to be a specific reason. So don't
Correct.
give any money on the train, and
Correct.
that's not the only way to serve, as
Right.
we said before, right? That's not the only way to serve. Right? You can help a person cross the road. There's so many ways to serve that is not financial. All
Very
right.
good. There's another point that came in the chat. Tensi Ramsey, she said, traditionally, that's how people are, Dr. Derrick. Don't you think this is all about seeking recognition from others? I guess she was alluding to the point you made
Yeah.
in serving because you can get your needs met.
Right. Right. And that is what we were saying, right? When we serve sometimes is because we are it's a person that we can get some benefit. Might not be monetary benefit, but it might be something else, right? You know, this man is a good mechanic, or this person is a good hairdresser. So if I help out me hairdresser, then maybe, you know,
It's a nice
can
hairdo.
do me here for free. Because God, that is how human beings are, right? We try to give to get. That's also how human beings are, generally speaking. And so we're not going to give who we know we're not going to get back from. That's just how we are generally. So service, and that's why a lot of people don't serve. You check it out. You check the amount of persons that come to your house of worship, right? You check it out. How many persons come when they have community service day, when they're going to eat a pantry day, when they're going to have pantry day and they're going to serve the community, whether with a hot meal or a love basket, we call it, right? Every member of the church come? No, maybe about half dozen, and you're serving like maybe 50 to 100 people, but only half dozen show up to serve. That's just how it is. Everybody not going to come to serve because they don't want to do that. You know, they don't want to do that. So that is just how it is.
So balancing service, it goes right back to love. So as you put the cap on it, how do you now summarize sharing with our viewers that go out, be of service, be a good philanthropist so that you can hear well done.
Well, if you remember, the story was given of the Samaritan. The Bible didn't say Good Samaritan. That's what we say. But it's the story of the Samaritan.
Mhm.
And I think all of us know the story. That his own, when he fell among thieves, and this was a Jewish man, fell among thieves, and even the pastor, the rabbi, and the pastor passed him
Mm,
and did not offer the service that he need. at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But the Samaritan, and if you understand anything about Jews and Samaritan, the Jews had nothing
No,
to do with the Samaritans,
that's
and the
correct.
Samaritans had nothing to do with Jews
Mm-hmm.
because of ego. Because of ego. Maybe one day we come and let you know the reason behind that. All right. But watch this now. Key aspect of service to humanity.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first key is compassion. It's one of the first key. You have to have compassion. And that is what a lot of us don't really have.
True.
We don't have compassion because we into our ego. We don't have kindness
Mm-hmm.
because we into our ego. And so therefore we're not going to address any social issues because it's the government to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The government to address social issues. All right? Poverty, inequality, injustice. It's the government to do that. That's a government job to do that. Right? So therefore, we're not going to volunteer. You ask at your place of worship or any group of people, who is ready to volunteer to so and so and so and so and so, and see how many people put up their hand to volunteer. Volunteering not going to happen with the majority. Volunteering will always happen with the minority. Let us remove, intentionally remove ego. Because from once we live in ego, then we're not going to have any compassion, we're not going to show any kindness, and so we are not going to volunteer to lift up or to serve humanity. Thank you.
Wow. I guess we definitely need to come back to expound a little bit more on the love and ego because I think you just touched a little bit on it. We may definitely need you back to just expand on that. But I thank you for sharing with us abundance in service from your perspective being of service to humanity. Viewers, thank you for sharing. And for those who will be watching the replay, you can drop your comments. And I hope something was brought out that you are able to see that you can serve without having a whole bag of money. You can serve because you are human and you're looking forward to helping someone else, whether with your talent, your time, or with your resource. And you will hear, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." So until next week, this is another episode of Mindset Monday. Looking forward to seeing you and hearing what you have to say about abundance in service. Thank you.